once they nail down what it is, their purpose and their vision, mission and life's work and all those big, those little words that mean big things, then they go seek advice. They seek advice from people who know them. They seek advice from people who are doing the same thing that they are, and they take that feedback and to make decisions. Hi, I'm Adam Landrum with Made to Matter, where we are helping men, challenging men to discover their purpose and live it to the full. And I've been interviewing several men, up to a dozen now, for my soon-to-be released podcast. So stay tuned for that announcement. But what I want to share with you is really a pattern I've been seeing, and three key things that happen for a man in midlife to transition to a successful second half. So here's the deal. And I'm going to speak in generalities, as I typically will about that subject. Some of this may resonate with you, some of it may not. But typically when we're going through midlife, let's just say that's around average age of about 45, we just start to feel a shift. Let's just say internally, and I call it a riptide, right? It's this where first half ego meets second half psyche. Psyche actually means soul, and just this causes some confusion and some dissonance. The ego's like, hey, aren't we supposed to be achieving? And the psyche is like, aren't we supposed to be living for meaning? And we don't know which way to go. Our whole life we've been going with the ego per se, and now we have this option, supposedly, and this feeling and need to pursue what our soul wants. Okay, so that's a little bit of the backdrop, and so you may have felt some of that angst, and maybe you haven't been able to put a finger on it or to say exactly what that is, but a lot of times that's what's going on. Oftentimes at mid-age, we still need to work, but the original work that we've been doing isn't going to really feed the psyche. It's not going to give the psyche what it wants. And so sometimes men will just hunker down and say, well, I'm just going to gotta grind through this for 20 more years. Some will make a change, maybe make a drastic change. Maybe sometimes it's not that wise of a change. All right. But for the men who I've been interviewing who have successfully made that transition to second half, there are three things that they've done. And I just want to go over those with you in this video, and would love to talk to you more about that if you're interested. But let me just go ahead and jump right on in. The first thing that I've noticed with these men is that they seek help. Right? They don't try to tackle this ourselves. I've been writing, or one of my pet peeves and what I've been writing about recently is this, our do-it-yourself society, Home Depot and Lowe's, and just like, I can do it all myself. Like I don't need anyone to help me. I'm going to save money, and really it's money, not necessarily time, because a lot of times it takes you longer, right? But I'm going to do it myself. I can do it just as good as anybody else. And sometimes that works, maybe 40, 50, 60% of the time. But when it doesn't, man, it can be painful. So if you are doing it yourself on purpose, self-help books, fitness, what a lot of these things that are like, if you can nail it, it's priceless, right? The return is priceless. Like for you to have great health, so you can do a diet by yourself, or you could try and go to the gym and nail down your fitness by yourself. The odds are stacked against you that will actually successfully work. So it would make sense then, right, is to actually, why don't you go hire someone who knows how to do that stuff, who's going to challenge you and hold you accountable? And yeah, you got to pay them, but if the result is priceless but the fee is fixed, you got an amazing ROI. And so part of this is what I believe, what I think we're doing here, right, is that we're in the priceless category. To be fulfilled and to live the next 20 to 30 years that are remaining in our life, hopefully it's more like 30, maybe it's even 40, hey, it could be 50, right? To live out this life, and we're in this transition. We don't know what to do. It's confusing. Gosh, why wouldn't I go get help instead of trying to figure all this out myself? The ROI will be incredible. All right. So these men that I interviewed, they went and they sought and got help. All right. The next thing that they did is once they got helped, they got, and that help looked like feedback of like, hey, this is what I think you're gifted in. This is what you're passionate about. This is how you impact people. And so you start putting those together, that starts shaping your purpose and shaping your life's work. Once they've gotten that feedback and they process it, they go and get advice. Who do they get advice from? Well, they get advice from someone who is doing something similar like they are, right? So, or that they want to do. So one of the guys I interviewed was became a teacher in his second half. He owned a business. And he's like, you know what? I've always wanted to teach. I almost went into education when I went to college as a major, and I'm drawn. I went back to it. So he talked to a lot of teachers. He talked to his family members. He talked to his friends. Like, what do you think about this? He knew that, one of the things that was going to come up is like, well, how are you going to sustain your lifestyle on a teacher's salary versus a business owner's salary? Fair question. So he asked advice about that. He went to his financial planner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he really thought it through and got a lot of advice and accepted that feedback. There's that word again, feedback. All right. And then the third thing that these men typically do is they get support, especially if they're married, from your significant other. Like if your transition to second half and involves work, your life's work, oftentimes it's a pretty significant departure from what, how you've been making money and making a living and providing for your family. And so you have to get support, right? Well, you don't have to, but I highly recommend that your spouse is behind you. And typically they are, because they know that's you. They know this is what you're great at. They know you're going to figure it out and make it work. They have faith in you. And so they will support you. So again, several of the men, they had unlimited support, from their spouse, but they also get support from their family members and their friends. They might get support from, again, another person who's doing something very similar to them, who's saying, hey, call me whenever you want. Let's check in at least once a quarter. Almost like getting a mentor in that new space that you're going to. So again, I'll go back to that teacher. The teacher had another teacher in the school that he went to who was happy to speak with him whenever he wanted to about teaching. So they go and seek support. Again, when you get support too, you're typically getting some feedback. So third time I've said it. And taking that feedback and putting it to use. So, all right, so let's recap the top three things men do for a successful transition into the second half. One is they seek help. All right, they seek help. They're not going to try and do this thing themselves. They recognize that they're confused. They recognize that things are foggy, that they can't see things clearly for themselves, and they want this outside perspective. Once they nail down what it is, their purpose and their vision, mission, and life's work, and all those big, those little words that mean big things, then they go seek advice. They seek advice from people who know them. They seek advice from people who are doing the same thing that they are, and they take that feedback and to make decisions. And then lastly is they go and they seek support. And, this is support of cheerleader support. This might be financial support. This might be, encouragement. But just knowing that, your significant people in your life are for you and are going to help you out when you need it, is key as well. So it's a big deal. Midlife is, it's an identity situation, and you are letting go a lot of times from what you built in the first half, and you are embracing a new identity in the second, something that is more meaningful and purposeful to you, and you want to make it happen. And so it's not something to be done or considered lightly. It's no reason why help, advice, and support are keys to making a successful midlife to second half transition. Again, I'm Adam Landrum with Made to Matter. Thanks for joining me, and stay tuned for that podcast link that will be coming shortly. Thank you. Take care.